Our next honoree is the OSU 34, a group of Black students who were arrested during a takeover of the main administrative building in 1968. They came from towns big and small: Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, East Liverpool, Middleton, Brooklyn, New York, and other points in between. They were first-year Buckeye students on up to graduating seniors, studying various subjects, a mix of social work, education, commerce, and liberal arts. They were the OSU 34, a group of Black Student Union members arrested in the aftermath of the impromptu takeover of the main administration building on April 26, 1968. And the university would never be the same after they took their stand against education inequality, racial disparities, and police misconduct. The occupation began that morning after 4 Black co-eds were forced off a shuttle bus when the white driver asked them to stop discussing a recent Black Student Union meeting. When Ohio State police were summoned, 2 of the young women were manhandled by the police, according to the students. When a group of Black students were refused admittance to the police station to file a complaint, 40 students headed for the main administrative building, now known as Bricker Hall, determined to have their voices heard. We got into the administration building to try and talk about the situation, and we were told, "Oh, the police didn't do anything. The meeting is over," recalled John Sidney Evans, the spokesman for the Black Student Union. And I basically said, "The meeting isn't over until we said it was over." As the day wore on, the students refused to let Gordon Carson, the university's vice president for business and finance, leave their meeting without first agreeing to their demands. While the shuttle bus incident pushed the students into action, the changes the students sought had been a topic for weeks and a series of meetings with university administrators. The Black Student Union wanted more courses that reflected the Black experience, Black faces in the front of the classroom, and more opportunities for students of color to study at Ohio State. With the Black students occupying Gordon's office on the second floor, a few members of the group slipped away and headed to the Oval to rally white students. As the afternoon wore on, a wave of white anti-war activists flooded into the first floor of the building, serving as a potential buffer between the Black students and the police who were rumored to be on their way. While the confrontation ended after the Black students were assured changes would be made, a grand jury eventually indicted 34 members of the Black Student Union, charging each member with felony kidnapping and conspiracy charges, as well as trespassing. Ultimately, the most serious felony charges against the students were dismissed, leaving most to plead guilty to misdemeanor trespassing charges. But 8 members of the group were expelled by the university for their roles in the occupation. While the tactics of the Black Student Union and those known as the OSU 34 can be debated, there is no doubt that their principled stand brought major changes to Ohio State. In 1970, the Office of Minority Affairs, now known as the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, was created by University Board of Trustees to begin addressing the systemic inequities brought to the forefront by those students. A half-century later, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion proudly considers the OSU 34's rebellion to be an act of great service to the thousands of historically underrepresented students who followed in their footsteps. It was nothing less than the day that the movement for greater diversity, equity, and inclusion was born at Ohio State.
This is my mother, Lavera Brown. She was Lavera Henry 52 years ago. And I am so thankful that she is here and will acknowledge or be aware that the OSU 34 being honored. She is one of the 5 parents who came to the university, actually to the court, and was on the witness stand to attest to us as young people, good students. Thank you, Mother.
At the time that all of this happened, I don't even think that we were thinking about consequences as we were about what had been done unto us. So no one ever thought that, oh, we're going to end up, being indicted. We're going to end up, being expelled. That was not things that were more forefront in our minds as it was about having that important conversation and getting some resolution about how we felt and how unworthy we felt because of what had happened to us.
We had a very small group of us, core group, that began to meet around the issues that concerned Black Americans at the time, which were housing, and primarily the discrimination of housing both on and off campus was the number one concern we had.
You should not assume that somebody else will do it. Mm-hmm. And the other part of that is it doesn't take a lot of people to create something which can move its own momentum.
I certainly was motivated by what I thought were some just fearless, thoughtful students, very mature, who had depth and really had a grasp and sense of the world and Black people in it, and articulated that in such a way, in ways that I had not at 17, 18 years of age.
We didn't have any professional people. We had, I think, 3 professors, nobody in administration, et cetera. But the people that cleaned up, fed us in the dormitories, appreciated what we tried to do. It was a great experience, and I hope that we made an impact.
We certainly had, I believe, an impact in terms of increasing Black studies, or in fact, getting it launched, increasing faculty, Black faculty. Mm-hmm. And I think for us, a key element was an extension of the Black community, the Black student community, into the city of Columbus and the actual center that we pushed for in Columbus proper.
It means a lot to me to know that what we did then, our actions then, our beliefs then, has brought about a change that 50 years later, you are told, thank you.
These students represent a movement that has impacted and empowered student advocates on this campus for generations. These people were simply trying to advocate on behalf of Black students, and when they tried to meet with administrators, not only were they ignored, but punished. The OSU 34 demonstrates that real change, real social change on this campus will always need to be driven by student advocates, and often that weight is carried by our marginalized students. Thank you to the OSU 34 and to every other trailblazer who sacrificed their own well-being to improve the community around them.